alternatives that we have to fossil fuels? What will we use to replace them? Well, there are many options of renewable energy. We have things like hydroelectricity, geothermal energy. We have solar power, wind power, biomass. We have alternative fuels. All of these are very viable options. However, we can't just make this jump right away because obviously fossil fuels are going to run out very soon, and renewable energy only accounts for 12.9% of worldwide energy production. So we're going to need something to fill this gap because unfortunately at the moment, renewable energy just isn't efficient enough. However, it is still in development and there are still improvements being made every day. As we speak right now, there's research being made into how to improve solar panels, how to improve wind turbines. However, this will take a considerable amount of time. So we need something to fill this gap, and the answer is right here. We can use nuclear energy to fill this gap between the development and the depletion of fossil fuels. Now, renewable energy is going to be coming in a very long time, so we're going to use nuclear energy for this period of wait time, so to speak, because it's very clean. It produces steam as a waste product, provided, of course, nothing goes wrong and there's no sort of leak like we saw in Fukushima a few years ago. However, provided the process goes as intended, it's a very clean energy source with very few adverse side effects and is incredibly clean compared to fossil fuels. It also is very cheap and has a great value for money in terms of the energy it produces from such small amounts of the materials needed for the nuclear fusion and fission processes. So therefore, nuclear energy will be used to sustain us for a bit until we make the sufficient developments in renewable energy to be able to rely upon it 100%. Now, such a change is massive. It's a huge transition on a worldwide scale. So it's going to have some economic ramifications tied to it. Now, there are two models of countries that are going to benefit heavily from this kind of transition. There are countries that completely rely upon renewable energy at the moment. We have countries like Norway, countries like Iceland or Albania. They are 100% reliant upon renewable energy. So they will benefit from this because they clearly have the right technique. They're ahead of other countries in the research and development stage, and therefore they will be able to sell their technique to countries or corporations that require it in the future. The second model is countries like China that simply produce incredibly massive amounts of renewable energy. While they don't necessarily have the best technique, as they're still partly reliant upon other types of energy, they will just be able to sell the energy itself, and they will benefit heavily from this. Now, which model of country will benefit more? It's very hard to say at this point, but one thing is for certain. Both will ride this wave of change. Now, this is, of course, provided that everything goes as planned. But what if things go out of plan?
What happens if we don't have replacement energy sources? If we don't have energy sources, we won't be able to carry on with our lives. Because most things we need to work is required energy, such as transport and many times that is useful in life. This can affect a lot because if we don't have energy, we won't be able to have scientific technology, to find new things and to discover things that aren't discoverable yet. What can we do with energy sources? Well, we can do many things with energy sources. First of all, we can divide it into multiple resources such as electricity and fossil fuels and so on. These resources can be used for many things that will be useful in the future and now. There are many things we could do with energy, such as trying to actually invent new things that can be used for many objects, not just one object, which would be a total waste of energy. Where do we get energy from? We usually get our energy from the sun. And with that, we can warm plants. And with the plants, we can use it to not just grow plants. We can also use it to get energy from the sun. And we can also get energy from different types of sources, such as oil, coal, wind, the sun, and the water, natural gas, and even more.
Manure.
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 It means
So I should come back.
you might or not.
Yeah, so I'm going to try wiggling it.
Relax.
standard answer to any IT.
My computer is stuck.
Is it?
Do you remember me
Does it
speak?
not move slides? Do you want to just read
Do you want me
off
to
the
speak?
slide? You can't really further.
Uh,
How many more slides do you
It
have?
doesn't even move the slide. If I press this button, nothing happens.
It's computer software.
Yeah, it's completely
Okay.
stuck.
Can you remember what the rest of your presentation?
Laptop with logic supervisor. It's restarted at 4.
Alright.
4? Sir, can you go get his laptop? It's not
Well,
like we're doing anything this lesson.
you speak for yourself. You've got like a massive revision document to fill in. We haven't got many lessons. All right,
So
just
you can
restart
start
it.
Yeah.
Just while you're waiting for that, you said that China, yeah, you said I think that China has a lot of...
Whatever.
Does China have a lot of renewable energy?
Yeah, they produce, like, on an annual basis, they produce the most renewable energy.
From what? Like solar or...?
They have a variety of different energy sources, mostly actually have.
And I think you said something about nuclear fusion, that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, they're making development.
Yeah, they reckon it'll happen within... And then if you get nuclear fusion, what happens? Unlimited energy forever, at very low cost. That's the sort of goal.
What does nuclear fusion? It's the same process that happens within the core of the sun to create energy. What's that process?
It's quite hard to do in the laboratory, though. Yeah. It's very expensive to research it, so it gets going. It will be energy. So maybe the energy companies are conspiring to stop it happening because they'll see their profits fall through the floor. Who knows? It could be like big pharma, like pharmaceutical companies. They think that they prevent some drugs being developed because they won't make any money from them, like malaria drugs, because only poor people get malaria. They can't afford it. I've had malaria twice.
How did you get it?
Same way, I guess, that anyone else got it. From a mosquito.
What country did you get it?
I got it first in Cameroon and second time in Kenya.
What does it do to you? So what does it do to you then?
You get like, you just feel really lacking in energy, throbbing headache, sweating,
It's
for no reason.
like if I'm
Yeah, I mean, if you're somewhere where there's medication, yeah.
Stop recording. No, it's Jacob.
And you can, I think, without medication. That's not
So what did they give you? Injection or a pill?
No, it's low pills. Yeah, it still kills around a million people a year. There's a kind of malaria that affects your brain. There's stress brain that kills you. Yeah, that was the last slide. Next one. Right, we're back in grade 12.
Why are fossil fuels not clean energy sources? We get energy from fossils by burning them. Burning of fossils produce greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. These gases are the main cause of global warming, acid rain, and depletion of ozone layer. What are the positive and negative effects of nuclear energy? Nuclear energy is comparatively a better source of energy than fossil fuels. It does not produce greenhouse gases and its running cost is much smaller than other energy sources. A small amount of uranium produces much more energy than tons of fossil fission. Fission reaction produces nuclear radiations, which is very harmful for the environment. Dispose of the nuclear waste is also a very difficult process. Sometimes fission chain reaction can gets out of control, which can cause an explosion. How reliable is solar energy? Solar power does not require the burning of fuels, massive factories, or heavy industry to facilitate power production. It is viewed as a more environmentally friendly power source compared with coal or natural gas. Solar panels must be cleaned and cleared of the snow and other broken pieces to operate at top efficiency.
And these are our website that we used to gather all this information.
Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions? No? All right, thank you, boys. Good
Oh,
stuff.
about time.
How long was it?
I can't stop it. Hamza, it's not stopping.